This is not a video I expected to make in a long time. I mean, Moonpaw doesn't even exist yet. But right now we have so much information about the next arc that I just have to make a video. Most of all, as you can probably tell by the title, I want to talk about Moonpaw. She's the only new character we know will appear in the next arc, except Shy Frost and Rufus. And she's also a protagonist, which makes her even more interesting. We got a little article about Moonpaw on the official site, and there are things I want to talk about. First of all, we now know what she looks like. Here's her design on the official site. And it honestly makes me excited. This is the most unique design we've seen in a while, if ever. And it makes me hope they put some real hard effort into this upcoming arc. Have we ever had a tortoiseshell protagonist in a main arc before? And the pattern is very distinct, something that let us tell her apart from other tortoiseshells. She is also the first named character to have 2 different colored eyes. There was some nobody in Rise of Scourge, but I won't count him. After countless grey she-cats, I'm glad we're finally getting something new. It's like the story team is listening to us. I've seen people criticize her design because it looks like something from fanfiction. Dude, we literally spent 2 arcs with protagonists who had superpowers. And different colored eyes are what you get hung up about? Well, womp womp. We have also found out a bit about her family. She's a member of ThunderClan, the kit of Thriftier and Bayshine. You know who Bayshine is. He's been kinda important this arc. And in case you don't remember Thriftier, she's the sister of Bristlefrost. I'm a bit disappointed that Moonpaw is from ThunderClan. I felt that it had been heavily hinted she would be a WindClan cat, since we got a closer look at certain WindClan characters like Whistlepaw and Leafkit, and also that Crowfeather was featured on the cover of the Elder's Quest. But maybe I should have known better. Warriors never go an arc without ThunderClan. I was surprised that Thriftier and Bayshine were her parents. I guess one reason is that Thriftier just doesn't seem emotionally mature for kids yet. That's really the best way I can put it. She's always been portrayed as one of these immature and reckless youngsters. And she's always been a bit like a 14-year-old emotionally. Getting upset easily, handling conflict like a child, etc. I guess I just really can't see her in motherhood yet. I want to point out that she's from the second youngest batch of warriors, like she's young. And Bayshine is even younger than her, so these are young parents. The difference with Bayshine though is that he seems to be more emotionally mature than Thriftier. I can kinda picture him as a dad, but I still think he's a bit too young. Like, can't he at least enjoy his 20s first? Oh, also about Thriftier and Bayshine. Aren't they cousins? Like, full cousins? It's even worse. Here's a picture of their family tree. So they are first cousins once removed, third cousins once removed, and fourth cousins once removed. In other words, it's not so weird Moonpaw looks like she belongs with the Habsburgs. Thriftier and Bayshine are mentioned pretty heavily in this article. Hopefully that's a sign they'll be involved in the story. Most parents suffer from a lack of involvement in the story. They've done a good job this arc, but that's only because the protagonist's moms have been central to the plot. Look at Sparkpelt. Now that her part of Nightheart's story is done, she has barely been mentioned. I think she was in Wind once or twice. And the fathers are still very absent. I guess you can't blame Larksong and J-Claw because they're, dead. But what's Sparrowpelt's excuse? I hope Thriftier and Bayshine don't suffer this trend. We also got one more detail. We know Moonpaw has at least one sibling. Their name was blurred out, but the fact that this section is there shows she does in fact have siblings. I personally would have preferred if she was an only child, only because ThunderClan is already overpopulated. But also because all siblings these last 2 arcs, with the exception of Finchlight, have ended up completely pointless. Spireclaw was relevant for a while I guess, but can you name a single thing he has done since Shadow? If Moonpaw was a single litter kit, it would make more sense as to why her parents think she's so special. And it would also not make me go mad that we yet again have litter mates that do absolutely nothing. I wonder what the litter mate will be like, and how relevant they'll be. Looking at genetics, Moonpaw's sibling, hopefully just one, will probably be grey or golden brown. I'm hoping for a pale golden tabby, long fur like Moonpaw. We don't know the gender, but my gut tells me it's a she-cat. But if it's two siblings, there'll be one she, one he. Because name a single 3-kit litter who were all the same gender. Based on what the article says, link in description, my guess is that Moonpaw could possibly be a warrior apprentice. The reason I believe this is that medicine cat apprentices are always referred to as just that, medicine cat apprentice. But Moonpaw is only referred to as an apprentice, hinting that she's not training to be a medicine cat. Honestly, I wouldn't complain if we don't have a medicine cat apprentice. Their plots get more unoriginal with every arc. Warrior apprentices have more room for freedom on that end. You don't have to be a medicine cat to have a little connection to the spiritual side. We went through the whole first arc without a medicine cat POV, and it is generally considered the best arc by the fandom. Also, if she were a medicine cat apprentice, that would mean ThunderClan would have 3 medicine cats, which is too much, and also means one of them might die soon. And I just don't think it's time for Jayfeather or Alderheart to go yet, and I think the Errands are with me on that one. Most people I've seen comment on the announcement of this arc have said that it just doesn't seem original. And I would agree, but I also can't help but feel there's still potential here. We have been introduced to Moonpaw in a way we weren't with Rootpaw or Frostpaw. They've thought through the meaning of her name, taken the time to give her a unique appearance, and have actually said they want to bring more focus on younger characters. So I think they might have actually put a bit of care into the story, which brings me hope. What I hope most of all is that more focus is put on relationships. A starless clan has been an improvement, but it's still a big flaw in the series. We now know Eaglewing likes Nightheart and Plumstone doesn't. Also, Plumstone and Junos are friends, but what else? Who's Eaglewing friends with? Who does she care about? What's Hollytuft's personality? Or Honeyfur's? I hope we get to explore that more. I would have preferred to have a protagonist in WindClan. I still hold a teeny tiny hairstrand of hope, but I'll talk about that in a few moments. I'm curious about Moonpaw's personality. I obviously cannot guess yet what it'll be, but I can still speculate. The story team have already put so much effort into her, so I think she might be a favorite of theirs, so I'm expecting good things to come from this. Aside from Moonpaw, there are other things I want to talk about when it comes to the next arc. I should make another video about that, but for now I'll just go through everything a bit quickly. The first thing is about when the story will take place. We're in late leaf fall or early leaf bear as of Wind. And we know the next story starts in leaf fall, with leaf bear approaching. So there's at least a time skip of around 9 months, depending on when Star ends. So it's possible Thriftier gets pregnant at the end of Star. That would make Moonpaw apprentice age by leaf fall. But there's another scenario, which I have more hope for. The current conflict seems like the type that'll bring a long time stability afterwards. And right now, Leafstar isn't exactly young, but she's not mentioned to be super duper old. And Tawnypelt and Crowfeather are not mentioned to be old, but in the Elder's Quest, Leafstar is in failing health, and Tawnypelt and Crowfeather are heavily hinted at being elders. This makes it seem like a significant amount of time has passed since the Starless Clan. So I wonder if instead of the gap being 9 moons, it's closer to 20 moons. Meaning Changing Skies doesn't start in the leaf fall after this arc, but 2 leaf falls after. That would also make more sense of the article's emphasis on the younger generation. They could also take the opportunity to kill off some background characters. They must know at this point how hated the population problem is. So I have hope they're trying to take care of that. I don't doubt some cats will die in the inevitable battle against Splashtail, but the time skip would be great for killing off even more cats. The time skip between the Broken Code and a Starless Clan was the first time since Omen of the Stars that no cat in a Point of View clan was killed off. You could argue ever, if you want to count the power of 3 and Omen of the Stars as one arc, which would honestly be fair. So if I'm correct about my assumptions so far, then there will be some deaths. I'm around 95% sure one of the time skip victims will be Leafshade. She has not appeared since The Place of No Stars, which was released 3 years ago. Eagle Wing has had more relevancy, and she's literally Eagle Wing. At this point, it would not surprise me if they actually did kill her off, but just forgot to take her off the allegiances. Other than that, I don't have a clue. And I just don't care about SkyClan, so just kill off whoever. You could throw away Hawkwing and I wouldn't care. Since SkyClan are hit the worst, it wouldn't surprise me if they've already suffered a lot of deaths. In all clans, not just POV ones, I think most elders will be switched out. Oakfur will be gone and replaced with Snowbird, Tawnypelt, and also Scorcher if they forget how young he actually is. Brackenfur is mentioned to be in a cognitive decline, so I think he and Ultrabiter and Cloudtail will be gone. But I think Thornclaw might stick around a little longer. And Whitewing and Birchfall will join. I'll skip SkyClan because I don't know who is how old. In WindClan, Gorestail and Whiskernose might very well be gone and be replaced with Crowfeather and Nightcloud. Mosspelt is super duper old. If there's a big time skip, she's super dead. Duskfur has already been mistaken for an elder, she's 100% retiring. And Icewing will also if she doesn't become leader. Shimmerpelt has also been hinted as being older than Icewing. I think she might retire if she isn't a time skip victim or just forgotten by the story team. Those are my theories about the timeline. But there's another thing in the article that caught my eye. Now we're getting to the thing I would mention in a few moments. I, and a lot of other people, happened to notice a certain thing said in the very first paragraph. It said, and I quote, "Our young first POV character to appear in Changing Skies is a Moonpaw." Did you catch that? It says, our first young POV character. Meaning this is not the first young protagonist we'll be getting in this arc. This is what I meant when I said I had a teeny tiny hairstand of hope for a WindClan protagonist. One of the main characters we haven't met yet might be a WindClan cat. Why else would Crowfeather be relevant? And why would we get such a look into WindClan? I think that's where Leafkit comes in. Why were we introduced to her? It just felt a bit out of place. I think it is because she'll be one of the protagonists. Of course, she'll be a warrior when that happens. I hope she's the only new main character except for Moonpaw. I mentioned before that I think it's better to have 2 main characters than 3, as it helps develop the one we have more. I don't think Leafstar and Tawnypelt will be permanent protagonists, and I hope we only get 2 after they're gone. Leafkit and Moonpaw. Some have complained over all the protagonists being she-cats, but honestly, we've gone 2 arcs with only male protagonists. So I think it's only fair the girls get an arc for themselves too. Other than that, I don't have anything to add. Remember the part where I said the non-Moonpaw part of the video would be quick? Yeah. I'm sorry for being away for so long, but at this point it's just a Minty Stem tradition. I don't know when I'll upload again, but I hope to get some videos done over the summer. After the summer, I might scale back video uploads as I'm going into my final year, and I've heard it's very tough. So I'll be putting my full focus on that. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please discuss everything as much as you want to. The rules are in my pinned comment. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is.